In the previous video, we count up to 10 chords, which were, to recap, the first minor, flat, we are in E minor, first minor, flat 7th, flat 6, fifth 7, flat 9, the 4 minor on flat 2nd, 5th minor, secondary dominant 5th of the flat 7, secondary dominant 5th of the flat 6, and secondary dominant 5th of the 4 minor. So those are 10 chords. Now, did Paco included more? Guess what? Yes, he did it. He included other more chords. Here, specifically, 3 chords more. I will start adding up, because if I tell you all the bunch right away, we will not get it right. So, to get the idea, here we have 4 main chords, 2 substitute chords. Actually, the flat 6 has 2 substitutes, namely the 4 minor and the 4 minor on flat 2nd, and the flat 7 has 1 substitute, just the chord 5th minor as a substitute of the flat 7. And then now we have the substitute dominants. There's a difference here because hence the secondary dominants move by a 4th ascendant, like A, D, G, C, E, 7, A minor, right? So from A7 to D, from G7 to C, from E7 to A minor. This substitute dominance, or what also is known, sometimes this is known as so-called tritone substitution, those are also dominant chords. And these dominant chords, again, dominant chord is a major chord with a flat 7th, which creates a tritone, creates some tension to resolve. In the previous cases with the secondary dominants, those chords solve by 4th ascendant, solve to a chord, or resolve to a chord, release the tension, so to say, also aesthetically is very important, to a chord located a 4th ascendant. And in this case, this substitute dominance will resolve por cada conjunto descendente, that is, to a chord located half tone down. Or in other words, you can also see that the substitute dominants are dominant chords located half tone up, diatonic interval up to the chord we are going. So in E minor key, we are explaining everything in E minor, this is the key. We will have first degree, and then we will have E flat 7 going to D. So this here is the 5th of the flat 7 substitute, dominant 5th of the flat 7. So instead of, this is the secondary dominant, 5th of the flat 7, This is the substitute dominant, fifth of the flat 7, E flat 7. In this case, you know, this E flat 7. This is the major third, right? Then we have the fifth tonic for augmented, flat 7 and ninth. So this chord here, E flat 7th, will solve half tone down to D. So E flat D. That is substitute dominant, fifth of the flat 7, flat 7, right? And then also D flat 7th, right? D flat 7th will go to C, which is the flat 6. So in this case, the progression, instead of sounding like this, will sound like this. Right? Therefore, now we get two more chords, and so those are 12. And there is also one more. Don't forget that the 4 minor is very important. Also, the two more important chords in flamenco are the flat 6 and the fifth 7 flat 9. And because the flat 6 does have a substitute, which again in the second video I explained how Paco included that in 1976, the 4 minor became the substitute of the flat 6, that 4 minor, and the 4 minor on flat second. That also can have his substitute dominant. Therefore, here we will be talking about the chord B flat alter. So this chord, that will be the fifth substitute dominant, fifth of the 4 minor. So that is 13 chords so far. So we have the first minor, then we have flat 7, flat 6, fifth 7 flat 9, 4 minor on flat second, fifth minor. Secondary dominant fifth of the flat 7th, secondary dominant fifth of the flat 6, secondary dominant fifth of the 4 minor, and also substitute dominant fifth of the flat 7th and substitute dominant fifth of the flat 6, and also substitute dominant fifth of the 4 minor. So those are 13 chords, which actually could be 14th in the case you use an altered with high dissonant chord as fifth of the fifth minor. In this case will be, we would use even the scrubbing chord. A C7 alter and augmented and everything here. You can drop all the alters. We will discuss later on why. Paco never used those kind of tensions over secondary dominants for reasons. He said that this destroys the style, and I think he's right. This is a subjective thing, but of course we are studying his way to compose and improvise, and therefore that's what I'm telling you, what I learned from him. Therefore, but that we will discuss later. Anyway, we have up to 13 chords now, which it could be actually 14. So from 4 now we have almost 10, 9 or 10 more, at least 9 chords more. So this is such a thing. Again, to recap, is the first minor, flat 7, flat 6, fifth 7 flat 9, 4 minor on flat second, fifth minor, secondary dominant fifth of the flat 7, secondary dominant fifth of the flat 6, secondary dominant fifth of the 4 minor, and substitute dominant fifth of the flat 7, substitute dominant fifth of the flat 6, and it could be used, not that it has to be used, but it could be used. The fifth of the substitute dominant, fifth of the fifth minor in progressions like this in pieces with singers, with flamenco singers nowadays, very much used. We will analyze that thing also. Because if you don't understand the cante, it's not a kitsch thing to say everything is based on the cante, on the singers. Yeah, but how? This doesn't mean we have to study Antonio Mairena of last century or the Peña stuff, the kitsch flamenco thing. We have to study the modern stuff. So, I mean, Camarón, the discography with Paco and Camarón, which is part of Paco de Lucia's discography, and everything which is in that line, which means nowadays everything, every singer, modern singer, like Duquesne or anyone, will do those, Simon Roman or anyone will do this kind of chords there, will use that in their pieces, in their songs or compositions, whatever you want to say, right? Meaning en soleada, en bulería, because those chords you can use it everywhere. So therefore, we have 13 chords so far, so 9 more chords than what we have before Paco de Lucia.
Me ayudó porque descubrí ahí la improvisación. La improvisación es algo que yo pienso que cada músico del estilo que sea, del clásico, del flamenco, de cualquier otra música, debería aprender, porque en la improvisación te da mucha libertad y a la vez te da mucho conocimiento de dónde estás tocando, de cómo estás tocando, de qué armonías están en cada momento, ¿no?
Muy bien, Pablo. Sí, Paco, ¿qué es para usted la música popular y qué es la música elitista?
Yo creo que la música elitista es el refinamiento de la música popular. Por ejemplo, el flamenco. El flamenco originalmente es una música popular, la música del pueblo de Andalucía. Pero creo que ya no le pertenece más al pueblo, porque de pronto habemos gente que nos hemos pasado toda una vida encerrados, puliendo esa expresión popular. Entonces ha llegado a un nivel en el que el pueblo ya no tiene acceso, sobre todo a los matices que vamos consiguiendo la gente como yo, que nos pasamos muchas horas elaborando esa música.